The problem. On the 8th of April 2021 I found out that my wife was having an affair. My wife had gone to bed and I was downstairs finishing my beer off. I went upstairs about 45 minutes later to go to bed. I saw that my wife was watching a program on her mobile phone, but she had fallen asleep. So, I went to turn off her phone and a WhatsApp message came up on the screen, with just X on it. Immediately my heart sank and I just knew what was happening. So, I looked at her phone in the next door bedroom and opened a whole world of crap. Messages after messages between her and this other man, soul-destroying. Also found messages between my wife and her friend. So, I took loads of crap of the messages for evidence. I went outside to drink loads of beer and a big fat Cuban cigar to get my head around the situation. At about 4:30 my wife comes out to say what the hell was I doing outside, and I said nothing. Little be known to me she had looked at her notifications on her phone and the messages were already open, so she knew straight away. The next day was awkward for both of us, both not knowing that we both knew. When my son went to bed and after an hour when he went to sleep, my wife just said, "So how much do you know?" I think you can all guess what happened then. It has been 2 months now and I have decided to give the marriage another go, as does my wife, and things have been going great. I am in the army and have been away from home for 1 week out of 2, and I am now starting how am I going to forgive her? Crap going through my head is mental. I so want to have sleep with her, but it disgusts me that someone else has been there. We have started marriage guidance and will have our 2 session on Monday. I am so confused now and do not know which way to turn. We have been together for 18 years, married for 14 and have a 7-year-old son. The boyfriend is married. The relationship had come to an end as he would not leave his wife for mine, says a lot about him. The problem is that my wife works in the same building as him. She is looking for another job now. I am not telling his wife. I know that he has got dirty pictures of my wife. So, if I tell his wife then she will leave him and he will have nothing to lose by putting those pics up on social media. The best sort of revenge is to know what I know and he will not know if I will say anything to his wife. Knowledge is power. I am going to let him sweat. I can tell you that I have been 100% faithful to my wife throughout the whole of my relationship with my wife. I admit that last year I had bonding handed to me on a plate whilst I was drunk and I said no thanks, I'm a married man, so cheating when you have had a few beers is a cop-out. Marriage for me is about being with one person. I can guarantee that my son is mine. Since I have found out 2 months ago, I have only been away a week, but I am away for another week, so only 2 weeks away in total. I might see my boss and see if I can get home for a day to maybe catch them at it if that is still going on. If anything, I can be at home when she gets in from work and check her phone. My son was conceived when I was in the north of England 8 years ago. I now live in the south of England, so it will not be with the same man in question. I am so confused and had so much info thrown at me. I will have to process it all and decide. I have been awake all night. It is early morning in the UK, not had a bloody wink of sleep. They both work in different offices. All the offices are open plan with about 30 people in all the offices. I am sure the only time they had together was at their lunch break, which is an hour. She did tell me they did sleep in a car once, but does have a very bad back, so I imagine that would not work out that well. She did also say that she went on a business trip, but did not, if you know what I mean, hotel room. I'm going to ask my wife this. My wife needs to do these things to save the marriage. You need to take responsibility for what has happened. You need to acknowledge what caused the breakdown within your relationship and what factors pushed you to cheat. You need to take full ownership of your behavior without blaming others. Our son and I are the victims in all this mess. Because of your selfish ways you have broken this family without an ounce of remorse. How do you just give yourself away? Affairs are addictions. You get the addict around the source, there will be a relapse. You had an affair or still having for 4 years. You were going to leave me for him if he left his wife. He then popped your bubble. You then came back to me. How do you think that makes me feel inside? I feel that you still want out of the marriage. You will leave your job. You staying there is disrespectful and insensitive. I cannot move on until this happens. This needs to happen ASAP. I will be having a DNA test. After 4 years of lying, cheating, and planning behind my back. I do not know how far this spans back. I want you to be tested for STD. I feel there is not a shred of love left in you for me. I feel that I represent some stability and nothing more. Can you offer me a reason why you did it? You have not given me the whole truth. I need to know a lot more and see a lot more action from you before I can decide. You need to give me an amicable divorce and still wait for me while working on yourself for me to even consider taking you back. The affair ended because Rob did not want to leave his wife, not because you felt love, remorse, or guilt about me. You need to give me a reason why I should take you back. We stopped sleeping together over 2 years ago, cuddles, kisses, and hugging. That was because you thought you were cheating on Rob, but you were cheating on me. I feel as if I am in a hostage situation. I am compromising with you because I cannot take any more rejection pain. That is now going to stop. Have you desecrated our bed? Will this do? Morning all. I feel more confident after my wife and I were talking last night. Yes, she was shocked. I have come back home for a couple of days. My boss knows my situation and said go. I did not really get much of a response but lots of tears. The shock of what I was telling her was hitting home. I have her all the questions that I wrote for her to ponder over the next few days. I have got to go away again from Thursday afternoon till Saturday, so this will give her some much-needed thinking time. We have a counseling session on Monday at 10. My wife said she would like to answer the questions with the counselor present. You are not going to like me saying this. Liam had his wedding vows renewed. I have been on his wife's FB page and seen the evidence of that. He has deactivated his FB page, Twitter, etc. This is the reason that my wife said the affair was over. I am going for a walk with my wife for some much-needed us time. Whether this works out or not is up to her to act on the questions that she must work on. I guess I will have more info to share on Monday when I will have more answers. OMW, only problem there is, I can only contact her on Messenger. Her FB page has no phone number and no info on it. If I have no response from her, I could go through one of her family members to contact me, but I don't really want to do that. It will then take the onus on her to tell her family. I do not know where she lives or work. Liam's place of abode never came up. Me asking about it now would be very suspicious. My game plan is, I am leaving her a handwritten letter for when she gets home tomorrow after work. This is how it goes. Dear wife, inside this envelope is my wedding ring. I feel that I do not deserve to wear this after what you have done to me. You have truly broken my heart, and I hope that you never have to go through this pain. I really want you to think about what you want within this marriage and try to understand what you must do to keep me as your husband. Infidelity is the worst thing that anyone can do to another person, and I do not understand why you would want to hurt me in that way. What have I ever done to you to warrant that? All you ever needed is to cry for help, and I would be there in a shot. I will accept some of the responsibility of our breakdown in the marriage, but I will never accept any responsibility for your infidelity. And that alone was your choice, and your choice alone. You have never opened your heart to me ever and truly told me you are feeling. By the time you read this letter, I will have informed his wife. I feel it is the only decent thing to do, considering what has happened. Renewing his wedding vows whilst having relations with you is more despicable than just infidelity. This poor woman must know what sort of man he really is. I do not know where the future lies for us, but I want you to be true to yourself and ask, do I really see a future with me? Can you really make a difference to convince me that you want to be with me and never do this heinous act again? I will always love you to the bottom of my heart, and we have had some amazing times in the 18 years we have been together. Whatever your decision makes the right choice for you, and you are alone. All my love, OP. Letter writing is all about negatives and positives. Beat the guy down and bring them back up with a positive, and so on. Always finish with a positive. Hell, my wife and I have done the course. But what is clever about it, if you are under so much emotional strain, generally you look at the written content and not how it is constructed. A handwritten means so much more than a crappy text. To be honest, most under the age of 30 these days do not know what a handwritten letter is. I am old school. I know what I want, and I am going to fight for it. Why? Because I think it is a cause worth fighting. If we all give up on the things that we love, it is going to be a sad crap world we live in. Now I know there will be people out there that are going to call me delusional. Maybe I am, but that is my call. We are all different and each circumstance is different. I am under no illusion that my wife has made a wrong choice, but I am willing to give it another go. Why? Well, that is love for you. I am the Kraken and I am released, and I am going to bloody well fight whichever way it goes. If I win my wife back, I win. If I lose, I win. Plenty more fish in the sea. I have done it. I have called the man's wife. Now her D-Day has come. Crap, that was not an easy thing to do, but as you all said, I feel a massive, massive sense of relief by doing it. I have also told my wife face to face that I have done it. That was probably one of the hardest things that I have ever had to do. I felt like that I was the one in the wrong. But after an hour, calmed down and felt good about me. I did send the other man's wife a text. I am sorry to bother you under these circumstances. This is very a personal question. Have you had unprotected bonding with your husband in the last 3 years? I have not had slept with my wife for over 2 years. Again, sorry for disturbing you. Just trout I would ask the question. I have had no response. My wife is having a STI test though. The MG is going well. We are sorting out lots of crap that we have never done in the past. I have still not made any final decisions to the marriage, but for now it is going well. I still have my off days as to be expected. My wife has had a STI test and all is clear. I have also had a DNA test on my son. He is mine. She has also left her job and got another. Marriage guidance is also going very well. Things are looking up. I have sent all pictures and texts to the O. She has now told me not to contact her ever again. Fair play to her. Update. I have to say that after 6 months of working things out, my life with my wife is working out well. Sometimes reconciliation does not work, but in this case, it is working. I know this is hard for some people, but the MG, it is really working. I just hope that this continues. My comment, it is a full-blown relationship, with its ups and downs, just like a husband and wife experience. Christmas gift exchanges, romantic interludes, lust, normal discussions, the whole 9 yards. With you being gone so frequently, it will be hard for her to permanently sever her ties with her AP. I feel bad for you because you are serving our country, however, cannot do so stress-free due to wondering about your wife. Story 2. The Volume. Hi guys and girls. I really need some perspective on a recent bombshell my wife told me a few days ago. Here is some background info. Been married for 2 years and we dated for a year before we got married. It was fast, but I felt like I knew her well enough and the relationship was going well. She was the one to ask me out and she also asked me to marry her. Okay, so my wife has had 2 serious relationships in her life. One that lasted for 4 years and our relationship now. The first relationship ended about 2 years before we started dating. A few times in the first 6 months of our relationship she told me that she was still dealing with some issues regarding her ex-boyfriend. The capital letters will make sense later. These issues related to trust because he cheated on her a couple of times and she found out and broke up with him. After a 2-month breakup, they got back for a month, but then my wife broke it off with him for good. They lived together for 3 years. She told me all about him and what he used to and how she caught him cheating. How he used to drink so much beer and be very insecure. So naturally this painted a picture in my mind of this beta dude, and I was feeling proud of myself for showing her that not all guys are like that. She wouldn't talk about him much, but I knew enough to gain some insight into what shaped her today. It's good to know if you're married what kind of past your partner has, as it will shape who they are now. The bombshell. So, after 2 years of marriage, she suddenly told me that her ex-boyfriend was not a guy at all. It was a girl. She was in a lesbian relationship for 4 years and she has only been in 2 serious relationships. One with a girl and one with me, her husband. This completely knocked me back. I couldn't believe she never told me and even lied about it to my face for 3 years now. Painting a picture of this dude in my mind. I'm feeling so many mixed emotions right now. I've no problem about the lesbian thing, but I have a massive problem with her not being open. It's also a huge thing that I am her first straight relationship. I had no idea about this and it would have made me much more cautious when marrying her because I would want to make sure she knew what she wanted. I feel so disappointed that she felt that she couldn't tell me before now. What's bad is that I am the last person to find out, and I even talked to some of her friends and family about how this ex-boyfriend treated her bad. They never told me it was a girl, so I now feel a bit humiliated, and I'm sure they had a laugh about what I said after. What's also getting under my skin is that I always thought it was strange how my wife was friends with so many lesbians. Lesbians love her and are so flirty with her because they know her past from mutual friends, I'm guessing. I always laughed it off and thought it was cool that girls and guys thought my wife was hot, but now I'm insecure about it because she wasn't honest. For example, she gets flirty lesbian texts all the time from certain friends, and I thought it was just fun and teasing, but now I see that it could be genuine flirting. Also, sometimes we go on nights out separate because I want some beers with the guys and she wants to socialize with her friends. She would go to lesbian bars with her friends, which for me was super cool as she wouldn't be hit on by sleazy drunk dudes all night and she could go and enjoy herself. Now I see it differently for obvious reasons, and I wonder if they try to tempt her to try a lesbian relationship again. I'm so disappointed right now as I was beginning to feel very secure in my relationship because I felt like I understood my wife completely. I felt very close to her. Now I just feel confused and like I don't even know the person I'm married to. If she can lie to my face about this for 3 years, then what else has she not told me or lied about? What makes it worse is that she refuses to admit that she lied. She says all the stories were true, but she just changed the gender. I told her that in court she would be lying, end of story, and she couldn't argue against that. I really need some input and perspective on this because right now I don't know what to think. It's just I'm so confused and shocked I don't know what to do. When my wife is in the wrong, she immediately gets defensive. She started trying to turn things around and say that I had a problem with the lesbian past, but I had to tell her that she was wrong. I have no problem with that. My problem is with trust now. The fact that she held it from me for so long shows me that she didn't respect me enough to tell me, and that this previous relationship is still a big deal for her. I told her that if she told me even on just our second date, I would have been completely cool about it because I'm not judgmental, and it would have shown me that this issue was not a big deal. I even asked her straight out a few times if she had ever tried a relationship with a girl, and she flat denied. This was about 4 times. I told her that if she really didn't want to talk, she should have just told me that she wasn't ready to discuss her past relationship in detail yet. Instead of lying about it, she told me that she never really was a lesbian, but she just happened to fall in love with a woman. She said she was not and is still not attracted to women. This relationship was physical, so I don't accept that answer. Or maybe I just don't understand fully. What I do understand is that there must be attraction for a physical relationship to last 4 years. She says her attraction for women does not exist now, but my problem is now can I believe her? Regarding me judging her, I can understand that fear, but then why would she marry a judgmental person? It would be better to tell me early and find out. It also disrespected me because I'm not judgmental at all, but she obviously didn't think this. It didn't insult my masculinity, but it did insult my trust and character. She should have been more mature and let me make up my own mind. I do have questions about the dynamic of their relationship. It is normally easy to see that there are roles in gay relationships like straight ones. My wife is quite dominant, and I wonder if she was the leader in that relationship. It is stupid, I know, but that part is hurtful to the masculinity. Apart from a few childish white lies, she had seemed up until this point to be trustful. It's why I was feeling so close to her. I got cheated on in my previous 2 relationships, so this is one trust issue I really hoped I wouldn't must deal with. I thought I had found a rare, honest person. She told me in a joking way at first. It wasn't until I started to ask, "Are you being serious?" and she didn't deny that the truth came out. She said sorry for telling me in a disrespectful way, but she refuses to admit she lied. This refusing to admit she is wrong is not just with me, it is with her family too. It is something she has had since childhood, I'm guessing. Now I am just feeling a bit distant and confused, and when she gets home from work, she is constantly trying to seek validation by asking if I still love her and do I want to cuddle. If I say I need time, then a massive argument will start. I know she senses that I am distant and not sure how to react. I think for now she thinks I am fine with it, but it's killing me. I honestly don't know what to do. I'm trying to book a coffee with her sister to try and get some background info on the whole thing and to see if there's anything else I need to know about. I hope not. The good news is that she only goes out once every 4 months or so. However, a statement that is running through my mind is one she made a few days before the big revelation. She told me that the last time she went out, a hot girl approached he, and out of respect for our marriage, she immediately told her that she was married. At that time, I had no idea she had been in a lesbian relationship. This statement came from a question she asked me. She wanted to know if many girls flirt with me when she is not around because she noticed girls looking at me over lunch. The problem is I can talk to no one about this. It's why I'm on here. I cannot ask her friends or family because they all knew and never said anything to me. So many things make more sense now, like her mom and dad being so happy that I married her because now they will get kids in the future. Looking back, I feel like a dumbass for not seeing the signs clearly. She gets defensive about everything. A few weeks ago, she crashed the car into the back of the car in front. I was in the car beside her. It was totally her fault, but to this day she says it's the other guy's fault. Her way of apologizing is to buy presents and be all sweet. Took me a while to realize this. This weekend I will try to talk to her in a calm way. I don't know how to move past this. I don't know what action to take. I feel like I want some distance from her right now. But I also really want her to just honestly apologize and explain truthfully everything. Though I'm not sure if I am ready to believe it. I feel like an idiot because I have no big secrets. I hid nothing from her because I thought it was only fair before we got married. I wanted to enter the marriage with total honesty, even though I had no big secrets to share. Just a bit of depression when I was younger. For her to understand how she damaged the foundations of the relationship. For her to show remorse. I don't think being a knight in shining armor is necessarily beta, but in this case I agree. Because of the lie, I feel like a knight in crap-covered armor. She told me everything about this past relationship. Too much detail sometimes. She just changed the gender of the partner to a guy instead of a girl. It's how I was able to paint such a strong picture and foundation for the marriage. I asked her all the appropriate normal questions and believed her answers. I even asked about if she had experimented with girls, which she denied 4 times or more. Apart from that, she seems to have been truthful and open, but now I am having trouble believing the answers. The foundation of the relationship has just been removed from right under my feet. In her mind, all she did was omit to tell one small fact, because it makes no difference a person is a person, boy or girl. It's true, I don't know her anymore. Believe me, I tried to dig and find photos, but I couldn't. Everything was wiped. She said she kept nothing because she got cheated on. So, I believe this. My ex cheated on me, and you will not find any evidence of her in my personal photos. All I know is that my wife still has her ex's mom and sister still on Facebook, but not the ex. The only thing I found was a poetic Facebook post from around the time of the breakup stating that all girls are a bit bi even if they deny it. All the lesbian friends. I know they think she is hot, so I always wondered if they or she ever kissed or something when she was younger. Like, imagine a guy with 99% gay male friends. You would wonder if he had ever been tempted. Divorce is a bit hasty until I can understand fully what I am dealing with here. I've been scratching my head wondering how to determine if she likes guys or girls more. Right now, I can't trust her words, so I guess I watch her actions. She thinks I'm fine about it just because I have not openly shown her the turmoil I'm feeling. She doesn't need to show remorse because in her mind there is no problem. I've been in shock, to be honest, where I feel numb. Not angry or depressed, more disappointed. I'm still trying to work out how I am going to address this. I'm sure it will come as a shock to her. I feel numb, like in shock. I can't believe it, and more so I can't believe she doesn't feel bad about it either. Like it's just something small. I'm not feeling very close to her, and if I'm honest, I don't want to be close to her right now. She used to tell me about how she was nervous about me and her bumping into him on the street because it would be awkward. Yay, real awkward for me. The family never really commented on her previous relationship much, but in the extreme rare times I mentioned something, they didn't set me straight, which is frustrating. I think they were probably as surprised when I said I'm guessing they would have thought she would have told me. I'm more frustrated about her friends and sister who hid it from me. I'm honestly too embarrassed to talk to my family and friends right now. I wish I knew what to say to her. I have so many questions and points of concern I think I will need to write them down to not lose my focus. My main point is that she has caused a deep mistrust and a feeling that I don't even know my wife, what she thinks or what she went through. She will need to explain this in detail if I am to start building a picture in my mind again. Then there's the issue with the family hiding it. I will talk to them directly about this. I don't mind putting them on the spot. Next are the gay friends. This will be complex as her bro and sis are both openly gay. I can't stop her from seeing them as that's totally unreasonable. Then I will need to analyze as the other close gay friends. Not too sure what I can do here. Maybe suggest a straight bar we can all feel comfortable in. There is this one girl who texts my wife every day 24h. It's weird that they text all day but never ever hang out. She is all jokes and flirtatious comments and she is a lesbian. They apparently met in a bar a few years ago and got chatting from there. Very suspicious. I once saw this girl text my wife, "Is your husband okay with me texting you?" This set off alarm bells at the time, but I thought is okay, she's a lesbian and my wife isn't. This friend I am going to ask to meet. I will say to my wife that all three of us should meet up so as I can trust her intention. If my wife refuses, then I will tell her to stop texting her or I'm gone. She needs to help me trust her again, so hiding weird text girl who she never meets would just be too strange. If my wife refuses or is closed in her answers, then I'm gone. If she refuses to see what she did and repair it, then I'm gone. Essentially, I am going to need to see a real effort from my wife to try to build this up again and make me believe who she actually is. If this isn't done, I'm gone. Even if it is all done and she tries her best, there is still a chance I will just leave. I don't think my wife is capable of rebuilding this. I will give her a chance, but in the meantime, I'm going to start working on emotionally detaching myself from this relationship. I don't know who came out first or anything. I probably need to ask. We live in Brazil where physical boundaries are less strict. Being bi is quite acceptable here. That's still not so much my issue. My issue is, who is my wife? I'm not sure I know. I'm positive she is not the ex. She is an orbiter who is clearly interested in my wife. I thought that before my wife told me about her past, but it meant less then, as I thought there was no danger of feelings developing. She said it doesn't matter what gender the person was, so I shouldn't be annoyed. I replied by saying, if it didn't matter, then why did you not just tell me immediately and not lie about it? If it's no big deal what you were trying to achieve by saying it was a guy. Then she says she didn't lie, she just left out some information. I thought we were closer than we are. What's worse is that I know she has told other people closer to her. I'm literally the last person to find out. As a husband, I should be the first to know. At least that's what I believe. At the moment, I can't help but be distant with her. She knows something is up, and last night she was trying her best to be all sweet and nice. I need to talk to her this weekend. Normally I confront immediately. However, my wife is working 9 to 5, then has university from 6 to 10 at night. She gets home at 11 p.m. during the week. I do not want an all-night argument starting at 11 p.m. I want to be alert, calm and composed, and I want no excuse about it's late at night and she's tired from her. It's about picking your battles logically. Also, because I normally flip out immediately, me waiting and her sensing something is wrong is making her more worried.